Alright, so we all know to spend our money on good things, like invest in our health. So I won't be talking about that here. But there are a few simple things that I've found that when I spend money on, it drastically improves my life and my mental health. I'm Aaron, by the way, straight A student in Kungsholmen Gymnasium, always loving up life. And the first type of purchase is an experience. You want to spend your money on experiences and have as many stories and things that you can document, especially in your younger years. Because a few years ago, I was like obsessed with getting older. I was like constantly thinking about, the day that I turned 18, that suddenly it's going to change everything. And okay, it's true to an extent, but it's like these young years, like from like your teen years, however old you are watching this video, all the way through your 20s and even 30s, they're some of like the best years you're gonna have in your life. Not saying that your 40s and 50s are gonna be trash, of course not. If you have that mindset that it's gonna be trash, it's gonna be trash. But these years are like some of the vital years, some of the golden time that we get, and just wasting it away, pretending to be, playing a role that you're not yourself truly, like not being authentic and natural in life, will just make you realize that you wasted so many years. Especially if you look back after a couple of years and you look back and reflect and contemplate on how you were these years, you'll wish that you spent much more money on experiences and getting like real world life stuff instead of, materialistic things like, I don't know, the latest phone or a MacBook or whatever. You only spend your youth once, right? So you want to make sure that you get as many experiences as possible. And sometimes money is like the key thing that will lead to them. Like maybe there's like an event in your school that costs like, I don't know, like 100 crowns or 200 crowns ticket to go to. If it's like a good event, like a good socializing event where many different people will come and you'll have fun and stuff, then bro, go bro. You'll get lots of experience, you'll improve like your social skills and shit. But most of all, you'll have like that day, you'll build like a memory from that day. And later in life, when you look back, you'll be super grateful that you did build these memories, because not only will you be able to like, contemplate and look back, but you will also learn many life lessons from your experiences. The way to like document these experiences now is with either getting like a journal or like a camera. So that's like the second thing that I advise you to like spend some of your money on. And it's to buy like either a journal or a camera. I'm gonna be a bit biased here because I love cameras, but I highly recommend that you do get yourself a camera. Cameras don't have to be expensive, although they usually are super expensive. Like if you are into like photography and like filmmaking and stuff, you know how fucking expensive camera gear can get. So like an average like mirrorless full frame camera costs like what, like 25,000 crowns, or what's that in USD, 2500 USD, at least here in Sweden with tax and stuff. So you don't need to spend that much. Just like a simple camera, just like something that is not your phone, really helps. It can even be your phone, because if you have like a pretty good phone, then these cameras are more than enough. You just want something to like document everything. And I highly recommend that you do like video. Like let's say that you're having an experience or whatever, then make sure to just document it by like just getting your phone or your camera and just recording something. So like you have it, documented, and you can look back later. If you don't like cameras, then you can also get yourself like a journal, just like a book. I prefer to do it on digital, like on Notion. I also have like a Notion template. It's free. I'm giving it down below in the description if you want to check that out. But you just want to have somewhere where you document things. And that can be either with a camera or with, writing it down every day or every week about, what experiences you had. I highly recommend you do get a camera. I know I'm biased, but still it's one of the best investments that you will make. And especially if you like, photo and film to any degree, it'll be very high ROI, because the cameras on our phones, it's not as good. It's not nearly as good as the, the proper camera, because sensors here are like smaller than, my thumb here. But the sensors on like a crop frame or a full frame camera like this right here, it's like much bigger. So that's why it makes such a huge difference. And it doesn't have to be expensive, like less than 10,000 crowns or like $1,000 you can get really good cameras. 500 bucks too. Like there is a Sony ZV-1 which I recommend, which is really good for video, and it can also take photos. So if you are gonna buy a camera, I've spent like, trust me, bro, I've spent like hundreds of hours researching this shit, meticulously going in every single detail, and I've found that Sony's EV1 is a really good bang for your buck, and it will harness a much better improvement over just your, default phone camera. Now, the third thing to spend money on is knowledge. There's this quote, which I think Alex and Mosley said, which is, the best investment is in yourself. Don't invest in the S&P 500, which is like the top 500 companies. Invest in the S&Me 500. And so you want to make sure that you spend money on improving your knowledge, like your awareness in life. And that can be through many different mediums, like books are a really, really prominent one. And that helps a lot in learning. And you might be thinking like, well, why read a book? Why buy a book when I can just watch a YouTube video on it for free? I've already made like a whole video on it. Like, it's a pretty old one, but still gold. But reading books will lead you to getting like an understanding of the book that no one else can replicate, because it's for you in your present life scenario right now. And it will, as you read the lessons, you will like start instantly, subconsciously applying them to your current life, which a video doesn't really do, because it's for whoever created it, their life, So I highly recommend you do spend money on books. PDFs you can just get for free, and you might be thinking like, that's enough, I can get the knowledge from there. And that's true. If you do like, you don't mind like reading from a PDF online on like your computer, then that also works. But best case scenario, if you do like, the feeling of books and, the paper swishing and all that bullshit, then it's not a bad investment to spend some money on books. I have so many books that I can't even count. And most of them, I got them from India, because I go there once a year and prices are so much cheaper there compared to Sweden. So, might as well. Every time I go to India, I like batch buy so many books for like the rest of the year. And that just keeps me going. And every single time like I read a book, it just fills me with new knowledge that I can implement and test out and, just improve my life. The fourth thing that I do not regret spending my money on is my environment and my workspace. You are like the product of your environment. If you have a dirty environment, you're going to produce dirty results. If you have a clean environment, you're going to produce clean results. It's imperative that you do not live in like a cluttered, messy environment, because that will like seep into your work and your purpose and progress that you make. A few weeks ago, my room was super messy. Like, I thought that I'm not going to care about my room because it's low ROI. Fuck my environment. I'm just going to go all in on work. And every single time that I got home back from school, it was just a mess to look at. And guess what happened, bro? I never got any work done. Every time I would like cope, but it just doesn't work, When you like go into a room and there's like 1,000 different things tapping your attention, it's super hard to sit down and just focus on one thing. And it will just make you feel super lazy and lethargic. So if you are in your room right now, I want you to look around, bro. Look around and see if it is messy. And if it is, I highly, highly recommend that you just pause this video, and it's much more bang for buck for you, much more ROI for you, to just clean your room, If there's like random clothes lying about, sort them out. If there's like random shit on your desk that don't really serve a purpose, Marie Kondo it, just go for a more minimalistic route. Some things that I did spend money on that was really high ROI for me was first to introduce like some greenery and some plants to my workspace. So it can be fake or it can be real. I went to IKEA and got some feka plants. That's how you pronounce it, by the way. It's not vegka, it's feka, which means to fake it in Swedish. And I got some of those, whacked them randomly in my room. And I've heard from Ali Abdal that they also like improve your creativity by like 50% or something like that. That's just like a number, but it does make you feel much more natural, and I think it does like correlate over to your work. So if you don't have any plants right now, I highly recommend you just get some. Either they can be real, but then you have to like water them. I would say that real is better, but I have both. I have like a mixture, so get some plants, because if you just have like a bare work area with like no plants, no nature, just like an industrial vibe, then sure it can work. But if you're like me and you care about being creative and natural and authentic and all that stuff, then I highly recommend that you do get some plants. All right, it's like a simple like a small purchase. It's really not that expensive. Like the fake plants that I got cost like 50 crowns, like $5 max, bro. It's really not that much. But another thing that is quite a bit if you are like a student, and that is to get like a standing desk. This is actually like my parents' suggestion. Like I always had just, you know, a normal desk, but my parents like noticed like I had the shittiest fucking posture, full on seam on, and that every time I used to sit on, you know, like working and stuff or playing video games or whatever, I just had the worst posture. So it was them that suggested that I get a standing desk, and they like paid for it and everything. Getting one of those standing desks will not only make your environment feel more pleasant, but it will also improve your health, of course, because you'll be constantly switching between sitting and standing up. And it will lead to a much better posture overall, because you don't know the amount of hours that we spend, you know, sitting on a chair and on a desk. So why not make that desk and chair, you know, ergonomic and good for your health and body? And it's not even that expensive. Like the one desk that I have is called Mitsuon. It's also from IKEA, and that costs like what, 4,000, 5,000 crowns. So if you are gonna get like something to improve your environment, I recommend some plants and like a standing desk. Although the standing desk can be quite expensive, but it's up to you. Just know that if you do like hit the gym and you're building like, you know, like an aesthetic masculine body and shit, then getting a standing desk will greatly help with your posture and that. And the final thing that I spend my money on is my goals. Money is kind of like fuel for your goals in a way. If you have like a goal of, you know, making a successful business online or whatever, or it can be, you know, to build a great body, to, you know, get good grades, then money is one of those things that can help fuel that purpose and make you more progress in that. It's one of the simple things that we don't spend much money on, that we kind of disregard. So if you are like trying to grow like an online business on the side, then spending money in it, investing money in your own company is very, very high ROI. Like this camera, for example, costed me quite a fair bit, but it's an investment because I will be using this for years and it will bring me more value than I spent on it. Same thing goes for like your hobbies and stuff. Hobbies you should spend much less than, you know, like a business, because for a business it's an investment. You're going to be getting value back and money back from it, tenfold or 20-fold or even more than that. But a hobby or like a creative outlet, you do it for you, so you shouldn't like spend as much money, if that makes sense. Like filmmaking, for example, that's literally all I love as a hobby. Like that's literally one of my only favorite hobbies, and I love filmmaking, love using cameras. And so that also, this camera not only was like a business investment, but it also like fulfilled like, you know, my hobby, so I can, you know, film with it and stuff. So that's why I spent like a considerable amount on it, and I think it's completely justified, bro. So if you are like trying to grow a business on the side whilst in school as a student, then bro, don't be afraid to spend money on it. Maybe you're like, I don't know, running a music channel and you need like to buy a monthly subscription for it, then go for it, bro. It's an investment, and even if it doesn't work out, it's good anyways, because you learned the lesson from it, and that is value right there. So now hopefully you're much more clear on where to allocate your money. And if you are like a young man on self-improvement, you're probably super ambitious and you have big goals, which is great. But if you find yourself super lazy and lethargic and you just don't end up making any progress towards those goals, and you like feel super unfulfilled because of that, then you can click here where I yap a lot more about that. And do subscribe, by the way, check out the links down below. And as always, your potential is only limited by your intention. Take care, bro.